Hi guys, welcome back to No Notions Travel. It's just me here again this week, and I'm going to chat today to Clíona and Sinéad about what it's like to travel with a food allergy. So Clíona and Sinéad, it is really, really lovely to have you both on.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Yeah.
So hi everybody, my name is Clíona Walsh. I am 21, nearly 22 years old, and I am a diagnosed celiac. I have been for about 5 years now. So I've spent most of my life not celiac, and the last 5 years trying to readjust my whole life, my whole diet, everything around this new disease. I say disease with these because I'm not sick. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. And Sinéad?
Hi, my name is Sinead McCarthy, and I'm 26 years old, and I have a nut allergy. And I found out I had a nut allergy when I turned 18. So like Clíona, I spent most of my life not knowing I had an allergy, and then having to adjust to the nut allergy life.
Okay. And is it a case of like, would you need an EpiPen, or like, did you have reactions when you were a kid?
I think I actually had like kind of mild reactions, like the odd time when I was younger. Like if I ate like something with a peanut in it, like then kind of like I'd get sick. But then when I was 18, like it was like, surprise, you have an allergy, you could die. So I carry 2 EpiPens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's like a big change to somebody's life. Like same with you, Clíona.
Yeah.
Like that's such a big adjustment to have to go like, yeah, you just cannot eat this one food group anymore. Like, I don't know how I'd adjust.
It's not fun.
No.
So
can I ask you guys, have you traveled much?
So I traveled a lot my whole life, but since I was diagnosed with celiac, I've traveled a good bit, mostly to Spain and Italy. That's all I've been so far. Since I've been diagnosed, I was supposed to go to America last year, but COVID had other plans. But yeah, I love traveling, and I don't let my allergy get in the way ever. If I want to go somewhere, I'll go, even if I have to bring a backpack full of gluten-free biscuits to keep me going, I will go.
Yeah, that's the best. I think the best attitude to have, definitely. And how about yourself, Sinead? Have you traveled much, or is it something that you like to do?
I would have traveled a lot when I was younger. Like my family used to go on sun holidays like every year, and then actually my teenage years, I feel like I didn't travel as much. And then since getting the allergy, or knowing I had the allergy, the only countries I've been to really have been the UK and in Denmark. But I was actually meant to go to Brno in the Czech Republic last year, because one of my best friends moved over, and then I was meant to go to Copenhagen for a weekend. And then, of course, COVID.
Had other plans completely.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And is it something that both of you would like to do more in the future?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Everything's back open again. Out of here.
Yeah. It's the biggest struggle at the minute, is just like, I really want to go here.
Yeah.
And I can't. So just gonna keep planning the trips, like with different dates in mind for like the next 2 years. Like it's just But I guess I'm gonna ask, what is it like to travel with a food allergy? Because I can imagine that, being in Ireland, you get a completely different, I know in Ireland you can look for the gluten-free stuff, or you can look for the checks on the back that say this has this allergy. But what's it like in a country, like when you're traveling on the plane or in the airport? How does it affect your actual like ability to travel?
So I find, as I said, I try not to let it, dictate where I travel to or how I travel. But obviously it's a problem. So I'd never eat plain food.
Okay.
Food on an airplane, even if it says gluten-free, because my big fear is being in an enclosed space like an airplane and taking the toilet for the next 2 hours,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person who everyone can hear gagging in the toilets. No. So I don't eat unless I bring food with me. I don't eat on an airplane.
Okay.
When you're actually there, I actually find that Spain and Italy, the only places I've been since I've been diagnosed, they actually have a way better gluten-free range than we do here. They have endless amount of things that you can have, and most of the restaurants actually offer gluten-free food, which you'd never find here. Like I know like 5 places in town that I can go and eat, and anywhere else would be like off limits.
But
in Spain and Italy, you'd literally walk and a lot of them would have it on the door, like gluten-free options or whatever.
Yeah.
And we could go in and 99% of the time they'd have something, which is great. So I haven't had much issues in that sense. But the good thing actually is I always bring a backpack with food. So anytime I go abroad, I'd make sure there's like a little kitchen or something in the hotel or in the apartment or whatever, because most of the airlines, I know Ryanair and Aer Lingus actually let you have a free backpack if you have an allergy. So you get a free backpack and you can put all your food in it. So you don't have to pay extra for it. And a lot of the time I put things that are not food in it, but it's a free bag.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always have food with me at least, and if I don't get to the supermarket, you know, for the first few days, or if I can't find somewhere for the first night, I always have a backup. I've found it really, I've had great experiences so far traveling with celiac disease. Only minor hiccups which we can't even necessarily pin down to celiac disease, could have been food or anything, but no, I've had a really good experience so far.
That's good to know. I actually didn't know about that extra bag, which is really helpful. Is that with all the airlines, or is that just with like Ryanair? Or
I don't know if it's all the airlines. I know I've gotten it with Ryanair and Aer Lingus. You have to email them. Sometimes they're really awkward and they try to fight you and they say, no, you're not entitled to this. And you're like, well, I know I am because I've gotten it every year.
The doctor's cert.
Oh, some of them do ask for a medical cert. And like, why would I lie?
Yeah.
Like, why would I actually lie about bringing biscuits? Carrying a bomb with literally biscuits.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you are entitled to it. So a lot of the time you have to push and fight and ask to speak with a load of different people, because the person you've gotten on the online chat is just not in a good mood that day. But just it's great. It's really handy to have.
Okay, no, that's really good to know. Actually, I had no idea. And how about yourself then, Sinead, particularly with a nut allergy? What's it like?
Well,
for you to travel then with a nut allergy?
It used to be really anxiety inducing actually traveling for me. Because obviously like with nut, like with particles like in the air, obviously like I don't have the kind of allergy where if I'm just around nuts I'll have a reaction. It's just if I ingest it. But like so basically I used to get a surgical mask to wear on the plane. So I started with face masks. I'm just saying. But basically I always used to make sure my EpiPens were in like a separate Ziploc bag going through security, and I always made sure to say it to like the security, so like when it's going through the thing, just to make sure they understand what it is. But yeah, I always would, like when I'm getting on the plane, I'd always inform the cabin crew. Like it was usually Ryanair I'd travel with, and like I'd say it to the cabin crew when I'm getting on, and like they were always so sound about it. Like they'd announce it then when we're taking off. Basically, there's someone on the plane with a nut allergy, so we can't sell any nut-based products. And basically to advise passengers not to open like any products they have. So like that kind of and it would always set me like, it would completely like ease my anxiety. So then I'd be sitting there on the plane with my mask, and I used to always make sure I had the window seat, because I was just so nervous that people would like, if it wasn't like my family or friends I was sitting with, like I'd be so nervous that anyone walking by would see and be like, who's this crazy woman?
Why is she wearing a mask? Like,
she's dying. So
I get that though. Like I mean, I haven't obviously had that experience, but I could understand completely. I'd probably be the same, where I'm like sitting on the plane going, nobody look at me. They definitely know that I have the nut allergy. Like, stop.
Like I remember one time, it was actually the first flight I took after I knew I had my allergy. It was me and my sisters going over to England to our relatives, and I was there sitting in beside the window seat with my mask on, my two sisters beside me, and then they announced it about the person with the nut allergy. And so then the people in the seats across from us, they're kind of like, what's going on? And my sister, the one who was on the outside, she was like, it's her. Like literally pointing at me, and I was there like,
naming and shaming, like,
that's it.
Oh no.
God. like I didn't realize that they'd announce it. Like obviously I knew, like I went to school with somebody who had an allergy that if it was on a door handle or anything like that, so I can understand that, but I didn't realize they'd announce it on the plane. I suppose being in that like enclosed space, it's I suppose if you're at one end of the plane and somebody else is having Reese's peanut butter cups at the other end, it's like probably will travel. It probably will get to you at some stage. Okay. And like so again, as you both said, like you both take like a bag, or you have your EpiPens in a separate bag. Is that all the kind of advice you'd have for staying safe then when you're traveling? Like wearing the face mask or the EpiPens, or bringing a bag with other food in it so you don't get like caught without it. Are they kind of the main things that you do then to stay safe?
Yeah, mostly, I'd always make sure I have my backup food. But another tip that I have found countless times when you're abroad, often there's a language barrier. You're going to a country, their English might not be great. My Spanish is nowhere. Italian doesn't exist. So you go up to them and you go up to the waiter and you say, have you got gluten-free option? Or, you say senza gluten or whatever it is in whatever language. They might say, oh, we'll see what we can do, or we'll make something for you. That's the biggest red flag ever. If they don't know off the top of their head, I will not eat there, because they obviously don't have, so I can't eat anything that's been prepared in a gluten area. A separate area with separate utensils, separate gloves, oven, whatever. So if they don't know off the top of their head that they have gluten-free options, I would avoid it at all costs, because they might, the ingredients that they use might be gluten-free, but they might not prepare it in a gluten-free way, and you will regret that so much. You'll be kicking yourself afterwards that you could have just stopped yourself from being that sick. So if they don't know off the top of their head, avoid that restaurant completely.
That is such a good tip. I never thought of that. Like if they're not sure,
you have to think about it. Then they obviously don't do it enough to know that it's safe, or then
they don't know.
Don't go there.
Okay. And how about yourself then, Sinead? Would that also kind of apply to you, where if you're asking or saying like, oh, I have this allergy, and if they're not sure either, is it like, nope, good luck, not spending my money here?
Well, like I guess that kind of would be one of my things as well. But usually if I'm going abroad, like I tend to, like, I'm not very adventurous when it comes to like restaurants abroad, because like if there is a language barrier as well, I use Google Translate as well. To kind of, Google
just to get by.
But like usually I kind of tend to stick to like the typical like chains, like I'd find a McDonald's or something like that, because at least like the allergens and the ingredients are like the same all over the world, like I kind of stick to the same thing I'd do over here. Like I keep my EpiPens on me. I just stay really vigilant,
That was actually my next question, was like, if you go to the chain restaurants like the TGI Fridays or the Hard Rock Cafe, the ones that are in every country, is that a good thing to do? Or like Starbucks even, like that they across the board have to be like prepared. Again, they don't want lawsuits essentially. So are they the good options then for going abroad? Like is that the best thing to do?
Well, I'd always stick to what I know as well. Like if I saw Starbucks or whatever, I'd go to it. But McDonald's in Ireland don't offer a whole lot of gluten-free options, but they do in Spain and they do in Italy. They do gluten-free burgers. I found this out. I spent my entire holiday sitting in McDonald's because I could not get enough, because I knew I wouldn't have them again for another year on holidays. So they do. They cater so much better abroad than they do here. So go to McDonald's. If you see flock to McDonald's.
That is a really good thing to know. Like I knew McDonald's, being so big as well, that it would kind of have to, it has to appeal to everyone really.
I think they'd have it here as well, but they don't. And I've actually emailed McDonald's, because I'm that person. I've emailed McDonald's and said like, come on, you need to have gluten-free options. Like they've vegan options and they've whatever options. The chips are gluten-free, and the new veggie dippers that they have, they're vegan and gluten-free. That's all. You can't get like a burger, and they give you a salad if you ask, which is great.
But like who goes to McDonald's for a salad, in fairness? I'm going for McNuggets. Like
Yeah.
If I want a salad, I'll go to like Tesco. Like I'm not going to McDonald's. So like that's not fair on you guys. I suppose it's the same for vegetarians. For a long time, it was like, yeah, we can offer you a salad. That's it. Like that's the extent. So I know you both said that you haven't traveled too much since having your diagnosis, obviously because of the current situation. But where has been the safest place that you've traveled to, like in your own? Like I would love to hear about what Italy is like as somebody who is, you know, a celiac, or like where, you know, I know that there's a lot of nuts and stuff in like pastries and bakeries in Denmark. So what is it like? Are they safe places to go to then in regards to that from your own experience?
Well, I personally find Italy absolutely brilliant when it comes to gluten-free. Even as soon as you get to the airport, you know, there's a little cafe or whatever, they always have gluten-free options there. I'd say at least 80% of the restaurants that we asked in had a very good understanding of what gluten-free was and what they could do and what they couldn't do. Even through the language barrier, a lot of them, they obviously have a lot of tourists, so they'd know that these are people that they need to cater to. So I found Italy absolutely brilliant, and the supermarkets had so much stuff. I was filling my bag to come home. Full of stuff you can't get here. I find Italy really good. So if anyone is kind of thinking, oh, I'm afraid to travel to Italy, because obviously their whole food is pizza and pasta. Like
it's gluten based everything. So
when you think about it, then if their whole diet is pizza and pasta, they have celiacs as well. You know, it's like statistically, I think it's 1 in 100 across the board, across the world, it's 1 in 100 people. So they'd have that statistics as well. So they have to cater for their own as well. So it's not like you're an alien coming here and demanding something that they don't know or they never heard of. So recommend just travel, just go. And if you're really feeling like anxious about it, you can Google's a great thing. Like you can Google it, no problem, and find, and there's chat boxes and forums and everything online for celiacs, and they kind of give tips and hints, and or there's this blog right here.
Exactly. We're gonna have a page dedicated to it. Yeah, exactly.
It's great. Yeah, definitely.
And how about yourself then, Sinead? Like, do you find, like, how was Denmark in relation to that then, with going into a pastry or like a bakery and going, yeah, I can't have nuts? They're like, okay, get out then. Like, is it accepting? Do they kind of have that option there for you?
Well, I know when I went over to Denmark, because I've been over a couple of times, and the first time I was there, I was like, oh my God, I need to try a pastry over there, even though I'm really not a pastry kind of girl. I was just like, I just need to try it. Over there. So we went into this little bakery, and like it was a really small bakery, and like the lady who was there, she obviously made everything, and luckily like she had English, like I think she had pretty good English, and like she was able to tell me like what was safe, what wasn't, because like she obviously made it herself. So that was grand. Like it's been pretty good being over in Denmark, like, because most places, like, I feel like a lot of places in Denmark, they have a good grasp on English, because I think it's one of their like main languages. So it's like it's not hard asking about the allergy. There's never really been much of a problem, to be honest, over there. Okay,
well, that's good to know. You know, like I know, like, even we were in Paris there just before the lockdown, and it was that kind of, it wasn't until I was like researching for this episode that I was like, yeah, I can't even imagine having to walk in there and have to try it, like, let alone buying something in French, but like having to explain then that additional like allergy then to try and get that across, that, you know, particularly if, again, as you said, like the person who was there luckily had actually made it, so they could tell you exactly what it was like. And then, so my next question then would be, I know for Clíona, I'm not 100% sure with celiac, but do you have to bring medication or an EpiPen with you, and what's it like going through the airport with that?
So really there is no treatment or cure for celiac disease. If you eat gluten, obviously you're very sick. I know myself, I would be sick for at least 24 hours sometimes. With different symptoms. Obviously the symptoms are different for everyone. So primary symptoms are obviously, not to be graphic, but you know,
everything leaves. Everything just exits.
Everything evacuates at any possible route. So, and then obviously stomach cramping. So I'd always carry Buscopan and Rennies. You can get them abroad as well, cheap enough in the supermarket. So if you forget, go straight and get them. But really, there's nothing really you can do apart from, like, obviously, if you have stomach cramps, take your Buscopan or whatever, drink lots of water and just wait it out. But
wait it out then.
Sadly, there's nothing to here. So
okay. And is it the same that, like, would they wouldn't ask questions or anything in the airport then if they, you know, they see like, oh, the Buscopan, or I know Rennies are pretty like, you know, basic ones anyways, but do they kind of question the medication?
No, I've never had any questions. I always keep them in the box with the original seal on it, so they know I'm not swapping the pills out for something dodgy. I'd keep them in the box with the leaflet and the seals on and everything, so if they ask, they can clearly take it out and see that it is what it is. So, okay.
And then I guess probably in more detail then, Sinead, what is it like to travel with like EpiPens and stuff then throughout the airport and the, you know, the plane and stuff? Is it tricky? Do you have to explain anything, or?
I've never had to explain it, obviously, apart from saying it to security. And I don't even think I need to say that. I think it's just for my own like peace of mind. Hello, anxiety. But like I always have to carry the 2 EpiPens with me anyways. Like it doesn't matter if I'm traveling, I keep them in my handbag I bring them everywhere. Like I bring them out when I'm drinking and everything, because like obviously I'm not going like eating nuts or nut products or anything like when I'm out and about, but just in case. So like it's grand bringing them around the airport. I always make sure that like I have them. I don't have them in like my actual suitcase. Like I keep them on my what's
your carry-on almost.
My carry-on.
Like you just have them kind of the closest way to you.
Basically. And like I make sure like they're there when I'm on the plane, like that the carry-on's not put away, like that I have the pens there. I carry antihistamines with me as well, like because that's what you're advised to have, antihistamines as well, like in case you are having like a minor reaction. So like I always have like a full box of like Piriton in my handbag as well, and like I bring them as well when I'm traveling, and like no problem with it because like it's a normal thing. So
no one's going to question seeing antihistamines going through the airport. Like, you know, they have to be probably the most common thing brought through other than like Panadol. So I actually didn't know about antihistamines. Like I have taken my fair share in my life, but I didn't realize for like a nut allergy or anything like that. I thought it was just kind of like hay fever and stuff like that. So that's actually really, really good to know as well.
Well, obviously it's not going to like stop. It's not going to stop like a full reaction, but like it helps.
It helps. It's an addition. It's almost like the Buscopan, as Clíona was saying, for it's not going to stop a full full on attack or anything like that. But so would you have any advice then for anybody else that's watching with a food allergy that doesn't want to travel because they're afraid of, you know, walking into the wrong restaurant or, you know, having a bad 24 hours or anything like that? Would you have any advice for that person?
Celiac, I don't know if it's called the Celiac Foundation or the Celiac Ireland. There's it's like a subscription kind of thing you can join. I'm not personally in it because it costs too much, but if you have money to spare, it's like I think you get perks anyway, but they sell wristbands and they say like I have celiac disease in whatever language you need. So if you're going to Spain, you can get them in packs of like different languages, but if you're going to Spain, obviously get the Spanish one and it says I have celiac disease or I cannot eat gluten. And then if you're afraid of the language barrier, if you're afraid that you're going to mess it up or make a show of yourself trying to speak Spanish, you literally just show them your wrist, show them, and you can get them as like a chain as well, or just like flashcards, and you literally just show it to them and they'll know what it's talking about. So I've never had to do that because I always just force myself to learn the Spanish sentences or the Italian sentences or whatever. Whereas Sinead said, have Google Translate up and just shove my phone in their face.
Just read it. It's here. Read it.
So that's like, don't ever be afraid to travel just because you're afraid that they're not going to understand you. Like there's so many ways to break the barrier. But that's just one way. You can get them cheap enough. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon and stuff as well. But I think it's Celiac Ireland. Don't quote me on it. I think that's what it's called.
We'll look into it and we'll link it below then if we're like, if we figure out which one it is then. And how about you, Sinead? Would you have any advice for somebody with a nut allergy?
All I'm going to say is don't let your allergy ever stop you from traveling, because like airlines, like they like it's totally fine saying it to airlines if you have an allergy. Like, they don't want to deal with, you know, someone nearly dying on their plane. Like, they don't want to deal with that or the lawsuit or anything like that. And they don't want to lose customers. So like just, I know it's very hard not to be anxious, like, but what am I trying to say? But like, it's good to, you know, just don't be worried about traveling. Because millions of people travel with allergies. Like, millions of people have allergies around the world. Like, it's not like you're an alien or anything like that. Like, it's a normal thing. But I think my other piece of advice is to wear a mask on the plane. I mean, obviously you have to now. But
yeah, exactly. It's not like you're being all like cool or anything. Like, it's it is technically the law now again. So
but yeah, definitely to like wear a mask on the plane, because at least that'll protect you like a bit more from if there is like any particles in the air in the plane. So, that's really my advice.
Okay, that's good to know. So if you do go traveling, or if you've had that experience and you've accidentally eaten some nuts or accidentally had gluten, how would you take care of yourself if you do get sick abroad?
So it'll be the same as anywhere in the world, you know, there's nothing you can do really if you're celiac and you're after having gluten. It's just a waiting game. Everyone's time is different, everyone's symptoms are different. For me, it's, as I said, 24 hours to 2 days of just kind of sitting on the couch or sitting in bed, drinking as much water as you can. I know you won't feel like eating, but I always try to eat something, even just light, because your stomach is at war with itself. It's and you don't want to do any more damage to your stomach lining that's already been done for the past 18 years before you were diagnosed. So just wait it out. Take your Buscopan. If you have a headache, which you probably will, have a migraine, a few Panadol, sleep it off, lots of water.
Okay.
Try not to think about it too much, because then you're still on your holidays, you still want to be happy. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it really is a case of just taking care of yourself the same way you take care of yourself here if it happened. Okay. And how about yourself, Sinead? Would, like, if you did have a reaction, would you need to go to a hospital, or, you know, is it kind of the same where you just need to, you know, use the EpiPen, or how would you take care of yourself?
Like, it won't be the same as being here. Like, now luckily I've never had like a bad reaction since when I found out I had the allergy. And touch wood, I never do. But like if usually, because I'm usually traveling with like friends or family, so I have shown like any of my friends or family how to use the EpiPen, just by jabbing it into my thigh, because you're meant to, well, here anyways, you're meant to use that and then bring the emergency services. So like it'd be the same over in any country really, because then I think you're meant to use the second EpiPen if the other one's not doing anything. So it's basically the same everywhere.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. And are the two EpiPens the same, or do they do two different things? I've actually never heard of two EpiPens before. So is that a case of they're the exact same thing, or do they both contain something different?
No, they're the exact same.
Okay.
I think you're always advised to have to use the two if there is if you're having a reaction. Because like they both contain epinephrine. So I think it's like the two things help, but
okay.
I haven't had to use them. So
okay. I fingers crossed it'll stay that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the event that you did have to use one, either here or abroad, do you have to get it refilled? Where would you go to get it refilled?
Chemist. I always go to the chemist with them, and they take your empty ones, or like, because they go out of date. So they take your out of date ones and you just get a new one, but they're very expensive. So
okay. I actually honestly don't know anything about EpiPens, and I didn't realize that they're expensive. Okay.
They're like, I think, how much did I pay before? I think it's like €80 for one. Yeah.
For one?
I have to have two. So it's like, it's great.
And then if you have to use the two in the same go, then you need to pay another 160 quid then. Holy.
Yeah.
Of being punished for having an allergy.
Yeah.
I know.
I did not realize they were that expensive. What the hell?
Yeah.
So you're already sick, you have to pay for it as well.
Yeah. And do you have to get like a doctor's
Welcome
note
to
from
Irish healthcare.
Honestly, do you have to get like like a note from a doctor for that, or can you literally just walk in and go, replace it, please?
I don't know what the story is because I've always gotten them from the same chemist.
Okay.
That has my prescription. So like, I actually don't know.
Okay, that's all right. I'll try and research it. I'll do my best. Clearly, like I didn't do my research well enough to know that EpiPens are 80 quid. Like, feckin' hell.
Really
that
fun.
is the one thing I will say that we have learned so far. This is the 12th interview we've done for Travel Inclusivity, and the amount of money that each of our guests has had to pay for something in relation to what they're talking about is disgraceful. Like, it's like the wheelchair episode was nuts. The like so many of them, we were like looking at them going, hardly, like you do not spend this much money. The hidden illness, that was another one. That is ridiculous, the amount of money that an EpiPen costs. I had no idea. I am so sorry.
That's okay, it's not your
My
fault.
God, that is ridiculous. Oh,
Yeah.
there's so many moments on these episodes where I'm like, oh, I need to change it. Like, how can I do something to change this? This is ridiculous. What are some of your travel essentials? What are some things that you have in your bag that you cannot go without traveling without anymore if you did travel?
Biscuits. I always carry biscuits.
Okay.
They fill you up fast, and they're small enough to fit in a bag. Other than that, I don't really have any items that I find essential, but one other that I would have is to always travel with someone who understands your allergy, who understands your situation. I could only imagine how annoying it would be to be traveling with a group of people or someone who just doesn't get it, and they'd be like, oh, just eat it, or oh, we'll just eat here anyway, when you say you can't eat there, but they all want to eat there. I couldn't put myself through that. So always travel with someone who you're comfortable with, who understands what you're going through, and they won't push you into like eating something that you know is going to make you sick, or like eating a restaurant that you're not comfortable eating with always be with someone who's going to get it, you know. But that's the biggest essential item that I need, is someone who gets it, and who can also, if you do end up getting sick, someone who's not afraid to, you know, help you clean up, or, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it is somebody that you trust at the end of the day, that, you know, it's like, okay, I am really sick right now, I need somebody to like be there, you know, to do that. Like, I can't imagine, particularly if I'm like, even if I was to be with someone and they're like, no, we can't eat here, and even I probably have kind of gone, like, originally gone, but why? Like, and you're like, oh, well, like, I'm seeing red flags, and it's actually just creating that awareness, even for myself, to know then, okay, well, this person is clearly seeing red flags here that is going to hinder the rest of their trip, or this is going to make them physically sick. So that is really good to know as well.
At the end of the day, you know yourself what situations you're comfortable in, and if you automatically, if you feel bad in a restaurant, if you don't get the vibes that you're gonna be treated properly and fed the right food, you need someone who's gonna understand that.
Okay, that's really good to know. And how about yourself then, Sinead? What is something that you, other than an EpiPen, because you'd like essentially probably die without it, but like, what is another essential that would be in your bag?
Well, I agree with Clíona in that one, that like you need someone who understands with you, like that understands, you know, I can't go to Chinese like places, like even in Ireland I can't have Chinese food. I know, mad, because they use like peanut oil and stuff like that, and that's okay, it's totally fine, it's not your fault.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
I know, but sure, look, it's fine. I find the good in other things. So, but like, to have someone who does understand, like, that I can't eat in these places, and that will be okay if we don't eat there, whatever. Definitely, I know I mentioned it before. Having Google Translate on my phone is like such an essential for me, because not even going to a restaurant, I found that when I was definitely in a couple of supermarkets when I was in Denmark, and like I would have picked up a couple of things and been like, oh, this looks nice, and then like literally I'd be like, to look at the ingredients, and then I'd like, I think there is a way you can like take a picture of the ingredients and translate it on either it's Google Translate or it's some other translation app.
I think it is Google Translate.
But like there's literally been a couple of times where I've saved myself from buying something that was like contains hazelnut or like may contain something.
May contain.
May contain.
It covers their arses, even if it doesn't actually contain it, but it's essentially going, we're not even going to let you try this food. Sorry, we're not even going to let you try. Like,
you know.
So I think that is a really good point to make, is that, you know, having just that person that you know knows the situation, knows like, okay, no questions asked, we're not eating here, this is not something that they can have, you know, that is, you know, I think at the end of the day is probably the most important thing. And even if you're traveling solo, then knowing yourself is fine, because you're like, right, well, I know I can't eat here, so that's fine, off I Todd. So I get that. So is there any, so I know you said like, I know eating in a Chinese restaurant is like not a good one, but is there any countries that you both of you would automatically go, I'm definitely not going there because I know that it wouldn't go well?
No, I'd go absolutely anywher, because as I said, celiacs everywhere. So everyone, like, they're not like there's a country where celiacs are all dying by their millions because the country refuses to feed them. So you'll find something everywhere. So I'd go anywhere.
Okay. And how about yourself then, Sinead? Because I'm really curious to know what Asia's like, you know, in regards to that. I haven't been myself. And I know you've mentioned you haven't been either, but like, is there anywhere that you'd go, no, not a chance would I go there because I know it would not be good? Or
I would probably say China, or because this is all just based on what my doctor told me. I can't have Chinese food, and I can't have it. I was going to say Italian. I can have Italian. I can't have Chinese. I can't have Indian food. So I'm like, I don't really want to go near. Like, now I would love to, you know, travel to like China or like anywhere like that. But it is, I don't know how risky. I think it would be quite risky, like going there in terms of food. Okay.
Okay, no, that's good to know. Like, I wouldn't have known about India or like Indian food or anything like that. Like, in my head, I wouldn't have said there was nuts, but probably, like, if I actually looked at or did any more research, if I had to do more research, if it was something that I suffered with, then you'd probably find a lot of things. I know some people said that America can be great, but it can also be really bad as well at the same time. So because again, there are people all over the world with a nut allergy or that are celiac. So it's like, okay, all the people of Australia that are celiac have had to emigrate because there's no support, or like, you know, it's like that any country is not like, you know, there's a mass exodus of people because there's no support. You have to create it there for you, I guess. So I think that's a really good point, Clíona, actually, that, you know, you're everywhere, you know, so it's like there has to be support somewhere for you. So probably it's like the hardest question we ask, but it tends to be the most insightful, is if a lot of the tips that you'd get is like how you'd conform to the world. So like you said, Clíona, you'd look for a red flag in a restaurant, or, you know, having to bring a face mask, Sinead, on a plane so that, you know, the nut particles or anything like that. Is there any ways that the world could conform to you as opposed to the other way around, where, you know, the world could do better things in support of people with food allergies?
I feel like legislation is really the biggest problem. Like, I feel, especially here in Ireland, I know abroad, as I said, there's a lot more options when you're eating it and stuff, but I feel like if you go up to someone here or abroad, I find this all the time, and you say, like, I'm celiac, I need to eat gluten-free, a lot of the time they think gluten-free equals vegan.
Okay.
Huge problem. You wouldn't even think it. It's a huge problem. They seem to think that gluten-free means you're vegan, but no, I want my chicken nuggets. Like I want all the meats, but
yeah,
there's a huge education gap. People just don't understand what it is. And again, there's a huge difference between celiac disease or someone with just a gluten intolerance. And a lot of people don't understand that either. Like I have friends who have a gluten intolerance who would go out and eat an entire pizza and just have a little bit of a tummy ache. But if I even touched a slice of that pizza or a bite of that pizza, I'd be dead, like on the floor.
Game over, like,
The education gap is absolutely enormous. Like I think if there's one thing that the world could do for celiacs is just to understand that we're not being fussy, we're not being picky. We our bodies physically can't take this, not to get into the science of it, but it's not just that we will be sick. Like our entire bodies, it's an autoimmune disease, so the entire body tries to fight this tiny particle that's gone into your body by accident. Like if you eat a tiny little crumb, your whole body responds. So if everyone could just understand a little bit more, that would be fantastic.
Wow, I actually didn't realize myself. I didn't realize there was a difference between celiac and gluten intolerant. I thought there were just two different ways of saying the same thing. No, wow, okay, I didn't realize it was an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, so it's an autoimmune disease. So it means that if it's like the immune system would treat this as a pathogen, so it's like an intruder. So it'd be the same way your body would fight an infection. So as soon as it gets into your stomach and the body registers that this is gluten, it sends all the white blood cells to go attack it, and then it takes all the energy from the rest of your body. It seems exhausted, and when it gets to the stomach or it gets to the intestines, it realizes there's nothing there to fight because there's no disease. It ends up fighting itself. So your body starts actually damaging itself. Like if you saw the pictures from my scopes of my insides, they're horrendous looking because the body has spent so many years fighting itself in a war that it's not going to win. So if people could just understand, I'm not saying you need to understand this. I'm not getting mad at you for not understanding, but I think it should be something that is taught.
Definitely. I think food allergies in general, I think, should be brought about because, again, like you both said, like it's been a very recent discovery for both of you as well, that you're actually allergic to this, and you wonder if you knew about it like a long time before that, or if that awareness was there, maybe you would have known before that, and that kind of thing. And how about yourself then, Sinead? Is there any ways that the world could do better for people with nut allergies?
Well, like as Clíona said, like people need to just be accepting of people's allergies and intolerances. Like it's not our fault, we were, well, I was gonna say we were born with this, but like it's not like we chose this. Like when I was flying home from Denmark with my friend, and obviously I'd let them know, the cabin crew, about my nut allergy, whatever, that was fine. And when they announced it then, I could hear like a drunk fella like a few rows back, because he was sitting beside my friend, and he was giving out like crazy that to the cabin crew, being like, why couldn't he have his bag of nuts or whatever he was having, and that passenger with the allergy needed to get off the plane. Like, I'm sorry, that's not my fault. That like, hello, like this is my health. Like, I didn't decide this. It's literally so I don't die. Like, your bag of nuts will wait until you're in Dublin Airport. Like, I'm sorry.
So, my God, like that. And I know like him being drunk as well, it probably made him much more vocal, but the thought had to come from somewhere. Like it's not like that was like just drunk thoughts, but wow, like it's like, it's a bag of nuts. It's gonna save someone's life. Like, close it, put it away. Like I think definitely just more awareness. I think just in general, because it's, again, like there's so much stuff that I have learned, and I've only been talking to you for like an hour. And like if everybody could take an hour to actually realize different allergies, because again, I know we're only talking about two here. We're just talking about celiac and we're talking about nuts, but there's so many other ones there that, like, we see a perception in a movie or a TV show and we presume that that is exactly the way it is, and that it's just like a funny thing almost, because a lot of them are like made out to be a joke. It's like, oh, the allergic reaction, and it's actually like, no, this could kill me. This isn't a joke. I didn't choose this. So that is, it's a really good point to make. I think just that general awareness. And then I come to my final question and my absolute favorite. When the lockdown is over, where is the first place that you want to go and visit?
Ooh, I can't say everywhere because that's impossible. I'm really excited actually, hopefully, to go on a J1. As I said, I was supposed to go on one last year, so it's my final year in college, so it's my last chance to do one. So if COVID doesn't let me, I'm going to scream. But I'm really hoping to get to America next year.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those experiences, I think, the J1, and it was stolen from so many people. You know, like, because again, like me and you would be in the same stage of college as well, so like even myself and like Jack, we were both saying like we should have been in like 10 different countries last year, and COVID just stole it away. But America is definitely a good one. I cannot wait to hear your experiences of being a celiac in America. Definitely.
Oh God. In the big city.
There's going to be another hour-long discussion on just America, probably. And how about yourself, Sinead? Where is the first place that you'd like to go?
Well, like I did say that obviously before COVID, I had planned to visit one of my friends over in Brno.
Yeah.
And then it turns out one of my other good friends moved to Copenhagen this year. So that's definitely like Brno and Copenhagen are like my two next destinations.
Okay.
Hopefully. So, but anywhere's good with me.
Yeah. That's the thing is like everybody has said either everywhere. We've had people on both scales of going, oh, I want to go to like Scotland or I want to go to New Zealand. Like they're going like polar opposites. But the one thing that we've noticed is like on every episode, at least one person has said, I want to go see my friend in this country or my family in another. And I think that really just epitomizes the effect that it's had on everybody for the last 2 years, that like people aren't just going straight to, oh, I want to go here because it's going to be a great holiday. It's, I want to go and see these people, you know, that there's all these people out in other countries, and same for other people coming to Ireland, you know, coming home. It's nice to hear that, you know, people are still, it's like, that is the first place I want to go regardless. It's still travel, but that is the reason that it's for someone. So that is really nice. And same with J1. It's for you. A J1 is for yourself, so you technically are traveling to see somebody, and that is you on a J1. So I stand by that fact. Guys, it was absolutely fantastic to talk to you both for this episode, because you just gave so much insights into like the world of a food allergy and an intolerance, and thank you both so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
us. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Great crack, and I'm glad that I did this because I know so much more about it. So we will have all the information about any resources these guys use, or any, you know, websites or organizations, all linked in the article. And yeah, we'll have a couple more episodes, but this is one of the final episodes, so you're just gonna have to rewatch all of our travel inclusivity videos, I guess. Guys, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will all be talking to you shortly. Bye-bye.